Yep, this is where I work, at the golf course. And I know you're wondering, do you tell jokes at the golf course? Yes, I do. Little Sunday school class. Teacher comes in, tells little 4 and 5 year olds, today is close to Easter, and today we're going to talk about the resurrection. Now, how many of you know what the resurrection is? Not any of them said a word, but this little boy jumps up and says, I do, says, if it lasts more than 4 hours, you darn sure better call the doctor. In divorce court, the husband looks at his lawyer, says, his wife's on the stand, he says, she's lying, you know. He said, well, how in the world do you know? Well, her lips are moving. Okay, a golf joke. This golfer and his friends are on the ninth green, and they're getting ready to putt, and they're close to a local highway. Well, all of a sudden, a funeral procession starts by, and the guy getting ready to putt stops, takes his hat off, holds it over his heart, and waits till every single car in that procession has gone by. And the guys he's playing with says, that is the nicest thing I believe I've ever seen in my life. Says, what in the world made you do that? He said, it's the least I could do. I was married to her for 36 years. This blonde works in a pharmacy, and a guy comes in, a terrible cough. Says, do you have anything for a cough? She says, I don't know, let me look. So she goes back to one of the counters, starts looking. She can't find any cough medicine, but she finds a bottle of laxative. And she comes and gives that to him, and he just drinks it right down. And in a few minutes, the pharmacist comes in, and he says, what's the matter with that guy over there? Says, well, he came in with a cough, and I couldn't find the cough medicine, so I gave him laxative. He said, well, laxative won't cure a cough. So she said, sure it will. Watch him. He's afraid to cough. This young boy graduated high school, and he couldn't find a job. And one of his problems was he had a speech impediment. He talked like this. Well, as it would be, he looks in the paper one day and he sees a toothbrush company that had a job for selling toothbrushes. So he goes down and he said, I'm going to get this, I'm going to go down and I'm going to get this job. And sure enough, he goes in and applies, and the guy says, well, he says, the only problem I see is that you have a speech impediment that might keep you from selling. He said, oh, please, I need this job so bad. Just please, if you give it to me, I promise you I'll sell those toothbrushes. He said, okay, but now we have a meeting every Friday, and you come in Friday afternoon and tell how many toothbrushes you've sold with all the other salesmen. So the first week goes by, and Friday rolls around, and they come in, and one guy had sold a couple of hundred, one 3, one 4. Come to him and says, how many did you sell? I said, I ain't sold no toothbrushes. He said, well, I told you if you didn't sell that I'd have to let you go. He said, well, I know it, and they'll those toothbrushes if you just give me another chance. He said, all right, and let me tell you, every good salesman has a gimmick. And he said, that's what I don't do. I don't eat that gimmick, and I go down there and sell those toothbrushes. He went out the next week, and they all came back in. He said, how many did you sell? He said, I sold 700. How many did you sell? I sold 500. And he comes over to this young guy and says, how many did you sell? I sold 20,000 toothbrushes. He says, 20,000? Said, what in the world did you do? He said, I went down to that railroad station, I put up this sign, said, free tipped and dips. Said, those people get off of that train, they take a chip and they put in that dip, and they say, ooh, that tastes like fit. And I said, it is. You want to buy a toothbrush? This old farmer had 3 sons, and he called them all together. He says, boys, I got a question to ask you. He says, I want you to tell me the truth. Which one of you pushed the outhouse into the creek? Not a word. He says, now let me ask you again. He said, I want you to tell the truth. Which one of you pushed the outhouse into the creek? Not a word. He says, okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. Which one of you pushed the outhouse into the creek? Not a word. He says, now let me tell you a story. He said, when George Washington was a little boy, he took a hatchet and he cut down his dad's cherry tree. And his pa came to him and said, boy, did you cut down that cherry tree? Said, Pa, I can't lie, I sure did. And his pa was so proud of him that he didn't even whip him for telling the truth. Now I'm going to ask you one more time. Says, which one of you pushed the outhouse into the creek? The young son steps up and says, Pa, I can't lie, I pushed the outhouse into the creek. And his pa took off that belt, and he started whipping him, and he just really landed on him really good. He was jumping around saying, Paul, Paul, you said if I told the truth, I'd be like George Washington. It says his pa didn't whip him. He said, yeah, but boy, his pa wasn't sitting in that cherry tree. Okay, one to close out with an Aggie joke. Want to know how to get an Aggie off your front porch?
How?
You pay for the pizza. I'm sorry about that last one.